Good morning, I'm Anna Palmer.
And I'm Jake Sherman.
And welcome to the Daily Punch, brought to you by Punchbowl News. It's Tuesday, July 28th, 2026. Let's get into the mix. Here are your Washington headlines of the day. Number one, White Trump's save threats aren't working. Number two, Zelensky heads to the Hill for a Russia sanctions bill. And number three, Tillis threatens to delay the Blanch vote. All right, Jake, let's get to it. The big story of the week, of course, is President Donald Trump trying to amp up the pressure on Senate Republicans to move his biggest legislative priority, the SAVE Act. But despite the push by Trump and some of his allies, it doesn't appear to be having that big of an impact when it comes to actually finding the votes on Capitol Hill.
Yeah, just unloading doesn't always get you the votes, and there's a good reason why. I mean, I understand why the president's saying what he's saying, doing what he's doing. I get all of that. But there are good reasons here. Number one, okay, so just for background, Trump said yesterday that the Senate shouldn't leave until until the SAVE Act is passed. He wants them to blow up the filibuster. The filibuster just doesn't have the votes to be blown up. That's number one. And then, so if you want to get SAVE passed, you got to blow up the filibuster or pass the House budget resolution. The House budget resolution includes $10 billion, assumes $10 billion to put the SAVE Act in place, or whatever they can in the SAVE Act in place. And right now, the budget resolution, according to the leadership, and I haven't done, like, people tell us how they're going to vote. They could be lying, they could be not lying, but the leadership says that the budget resolution does not have the votes. Tom Tillis doesn't want to vote for anything that includes SAVE provisions. Defense hawks, they say that $67 billion for the Pentagon isn't enough. Thune wants to double that number. That ain't going to fly in the House, I'll tell you that much. Thune keeps warning about another vote-a-rama. People don't want to go through another vote-a-rama. But Mike Lee is saying that, and we've covered this before, but he's saying he's going to force a vote on going to recess at the end of the month and force people to vote for it. Now, let me just say one more thing, Anna. The White House says this is all a bunch of nonsense and that you'll never know if you have the votes unless you put it on the floor. So, I don't know, kind of a stalemate, but I got to say this. Trump doesn't control the Senate. John Thune does. So that's another thing to keep in mind here.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think you just have two entities. The White House and Senate Republican leadership have two different incentive structures, right? If you are the White House, this is their biggest priority. This is what they want to get done. They're trying to kind of use any lever possible. Get rid of the filibuster. You just said that's not going to happen. It certainly doesn't have the votes when you, especially among Senate Republicans who can see they might not be in the majority necessarily, right? Once you start thinking about minority party positioning in the Senate, there's a reason why you like the filibuster. Then you look at some of these legislative issues, whether it's defense, whether you think about people going back. I mean, the idea that they want to put all these members of Congress, these senators on record, fine. I guess that helps, put the vote count out there. But man, Senator Mike Lee not making a lot of friends with his colleagues who are up for re-election.
Yeah, Susan Collins kind of said yesterday, and I think we put this, I don't know if we put it, it doesn't look like we put it in the AM edition. Yeah, she does. She basically said, staying in doesn't change what would happen on SAVE. People want to go home. People want to go home. And by the way, if you're a gambling man or woman, which we are not,
no.
And in fact, we are not allowed to gamble on legislative items, nor should we. But there are people that do. So if you were going to guess today, would SAVE or any part of SAVE become law at the end of this Congress? Like, it's not that crazy to see part of it become law. You know what I mean? Like, there are ways for this to become law. I just don't think it's now. I think a voter ID could definitely pass. I mean, saying nothing about whether it would fit in reconciliation and the parliamentarian, which I can't predict. So, I think it's possible. I just don't think it's going to happen before the August recess.
All right, Jake, let's run to the number two story of the morning. As I mentioned, Zelensky up to Capitol Hill following the funeral, or the memorial service, rather, for the late Senator Lindsey Graham, who was a huge proponent and had been working up until his death to get a deal on this Russia sanctions package. But now Zelensky is trying to help out and get more Democrats to run up the score here on this bill. They want to have a very big bipartisan number to help it with momentum in the House.
Yeah. So The problem is there are Democrats, although we should mention, there are 62 co-sponsors of the legislation in the Senate, including 22 Democrats. So this is going to pass when it hits the floor. So this is not we need to whip it to pass it type thing. But they're trying to run up the score because they want the House to take it up. And they want this to be a message to the House. And I'm not sure that even getting 100 votes in this would be a message to the House unless the administration pushes it. But whatever, that's not important right now. It'll be important in a couple weeks. The idea here is that there are a lot of Senate Democrats who don't want to give the president more tariff authority. There's people in the House as well. So Zelensky is coming up to try to make the case for this legislation. And this is like out of a book, right? Zelensky's here for the Graham funeral. Graham is the author of this legislation right after Graham's ceremony, memorial ceremony, right before the vote on this Russia sanctions legislation. It's very cinematic, that you have the president of Ukraine up here right before a Russia sanctions vote. It's very interesting. And Brian Schatz said we have a bunch of work to do over the next 48 hours. And the tariff issue is, quote, giving a lot of people heartburn. So very interesting stuff.
Let's go on to the number 3 story of the morning. Another issue where they still have some work to do. The vote on acting Attorney General Todd Blanch's confirmation is now coming down to the wire. We talked about this in yesterday's Daily Punch, but just 48 hours before a key Senate Judiciary Committee vote on his nomination, there are still 2 potential holdouts. Senators John Cornyn, the Republican from Texas, and Tom Tillis, the Republican from North Carolina, are holding firm on their conditions for backing Blanch and indicating there's been little movement toward a deal that would unlock their support. And Tillis seems to be not flinching, Jake, on this issue and willing to delay it if he doesn't get what he wants.
I'll say this. I do think Todd Blanch will be confirmed as Attorney General eventually. I'll stick to that prediction on this one. I really do. I think that they are trying, Tillis and Cornyn, to get the administration to move as close to them as humanly possible. And if they have to delay it, they will. They both want to get to yes, it does seem, but they are going to push this as hard as they can. And that's what they are doing. At issue here, as you mentioned, is the anti-weaponization fund and curtailing an audit immunity deal for President Trump. So 2 things that need to be solved before Todd Blanch, who participated in Oz Perlman's mentalist game on Friday night at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, before he is confirmed as Attorney General.
We appreciate it. If you like the Daily Punch, share it on social media, tell your friends. It's the best way to find out about us. And of course, you can go deeper on all things Punchbowl News at punchbowl.news. Have a great day and stay safe, everybody.